Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, well, Monday and Tuesday mostly ran really strong, as we'll see just now in the monthly high-low picture. But focusing just on the end of week candles, as we're pushing up for the end of this week, there's a chance that we could still end the year reaching this 161.8. Got about another just under 4,000 points to go. If this momentum holds, then we can definitely see those levels. But yeah, before we go on there, that being said, you know, the momentum is starting to run out a little bit. We do have 2 days today and tomorrow to go, but this wick is starting to pull back quite a bit here. So we're gonna have to just wait a bit and see. Stochastic double topping a little bit here, just above the 89. Our resistance, that is the 161.8 at the moment. Looking at our daily candle picture for our monthly high-low, above 100, our target was this 127. Above this 127, our target is 161, and we were very close to that. So once we reach this 161 level, there's no longer any more targets for the rest of the month. You know, that's kind of the furthest targets we have at the moment on the monthly picture. So above that, no, can't really trade anything. What we can look at is below this 127 level. We can start looking for a short to that 100. Right now, resistance is 161, and our support is this 127. So essentially, break of support, we're going to be looking at a target to the downside of 100. And with that, you know, that could just be the hesitation that we need in the market that might prevent us from hitting this 161 on our yearly high-low. That is currently, you know, the target to the top side on the biggest time frame that we have. But with the 4,000 points to still go and only a couple of weeks left, yeah, we've basically only got 20 days, 21, 22 days left for the whole year. And of that, maybe only 15 trading days. So not a lot to still go. All right, on our hourly grid, we have broken down through the 89, finding a lot of resistance at this level, struggling to break above that, which is good if we want to start looking for triggers to the downside on our hourly grid system. So for this strategy, that is quite good. Because the next trigger we can get will be down through the 77. Until we break the 77, there is actually no triggers to the downside or to the top side on our hourly grid. So that's what we're looking at the moment. On our weekly high-low, we have reached all targets to the top side, broke below 161, haven't quite hit this 127. That is our level of support right now. So I've left the labeling in as it is, looking at this 127 as our target. And once if we do break down through that level of support, we can start looking at this 100 as a target to the downside. Also 5-minute grid, quite a bit of consolidation, you know, from yesterday afternoon up until now. Haven't really broken this range. That could, you know, and so because of that, we could go either way. You know, above 77, target 89, below 68, target 50. So what we have to do in the meantime, while we sort of in this consolidation, you know, just looking at our moving averages, 8 is below 21, price is below the 50 moving average. You know, so those two things already are indicating that the trend is rather down than the Aussie than up. Our stochastic is also below this 50 level here, and it is also trading below its own signal line. So everything's indicating that the trend is down at the moment. So I'm holding that the short rather. So that's why I've labeled trigger short 61 to 50 over here. So that's the next target I'm looking at on the Aussie 5 minutes at the moment. Aussie daily high low. The next short that we will get will be below the 0, first target 127, final target 161.8 over here, and then for the longs we can only take them above 61.8. So while we're stuck sort of consolidating between this 38 and 11, definitely can't take any triggers from the 11. You can only really take a short from the 0, but it's this 38 and 11 zone that I'm looking at. So once we start breaking down through 11, I'll start looking more intently at taking a short here. Otherwise, up through 38, that would be great because after 38, chances are we'll see the other side of consolidation and possibly even get that trigger to the 89 there. All right, opening range. Sorry, just making sure I was on a 5-minute chart. So yeah, we haven't actually triggered short here. That would have been a trigger, but the risk reward was gone and never broke those lows. We're back into our consolidation. So the Aussie is very quiet this morning so far. No major swings. I would be a bit careful with this consolidation that we're in. The bigger picture from yesterday's afternoon all the way to this morning hasn't quite broken out of it yet. So I'd like to actually break down through that level. That is below 23.6 our opening range, and I'd like to break above that level, or in this case, this high here, so 61. We are setting up for possibly a trigger short. It depends on where this 5-minute candle ends. So let's just wait. All right, looking at the Dow yearly high low, just a little bit above our consolidation zone, struggling a little bit with a bit of a double top here on the weekly picture. This could be the first sign of a massive rally up, breaking record highs, or this could just be a little bit of a retracement. This is definitely way past our 3-week expectation for ABC, but nonetheless, we could have a bit of an ABC. If I had to just quickly measure just this movement here, from that high to that low, almost perfect 77% retracement. So even though it is beyond our 3 weeks, the rules are still holding. So break of 0 is a good chance to do like this. If we don't break above that level, we can look at basically breaking our 50 moving average. That's our final target. First target on the ABC 38.2. Final target 11 will be below 50 moving average on the weekly picture. So if this ABC to the downside does hold, or it does pan out that way, we could be looking massive targets to the downside here below the 50 moving average. And that's something we actually haven't touched our 50 moving average not once this entire year. We've just ran. So massive growth for the Dow this year, actually. On our monthly highlight, and see, this is another reason why I'm looking at possibility of an ABC down. Apart from that 77% retracement, we are struggling here at the 61.8 of our monthly picture, struggling very hard. On Tuesday, it was we broke above it, but we have failed to close above it for the last 1, 2, and we're on the 3rd day now. We have to wait and see where we close for the end of the day. If we can finish today above 61, there's a very good chance we can actually then kind of break this bearish market and hit this 89 and possibly even break above record highs. But the longer that we spend around the 61.8 level, the more I'm going to start looking for the possibility of the rounding top before we start curving to come off a little bit here. That being said, we're getting very close to 821 moving average crossover on the daily candle picture as well. Hourly grid right now trading between 77, 61.8, but indeterminable, as the market's been quite flat for the last 3 days, and our moving averages don't really have too much to show us right now. Everything's sort of bunching up, meaning we can either looking at trend consolidation for quite a bit still before we continue trending up, or it's massive trend rounding top and then we start coming off. Right now we are holding above the 50 moving average, if I'm not mistaken. 8 is above 21. So everything still indicates that the trend is still up here on the hourly picture. That being said, I have labeled it trigger short 60 to 50, 61 to 50, stop being about halfway. Otherwise, if we do break 77, that will be a trigger long. Sorry, excuse me, trigger long to the 89. Now we'll get to a bit later. I haven't even moved my fib across yet. Still have quite a ways to go. Weekly high low trading above this 127, finding very strong support off that level. This is where it's going to start talking to our grid quite nicely. If we can get basically whatever trigger we get on our grid, that's going to speak to whatever trigger is going to come get clear us over here. Obviously, we trigger long on the grids. We can't really take any longs over here, but we can look at the 61.8 as a target top side. As we did get that trigger long, weekly high low, hit first target. We haven't stopped out. Stop moves to entry over here somewhere. So that trade is still in play. We're still waiting to reach our target 61.8. That is an outstanding target. Otherwise, if we do start coming off a bit, we can look at a short below 127, target the 100 over here, and stop will be about halfway to the one between 127 and 161. Just watch risk reward over here. Right, daily high low. Trading between 61.8 to 38.2. This is our consolidation zone. We haven't retested this 50 level yet. Once we do, we can start looking at a short below 38.2. But until then, the next short will be below zero. Over here, first target 127, final target 161, and a long will be above 61.8. First target 77, final target 89. We have broken 15 moving average. 8 is below 21. But we are getting, sorry, let me just double check. Sorry, that's 11 moving average. Yeah, 8 is above 21 moving average on the 5 minutes. So the trend is up on the 5 minutes on the Dow. So it's like if we can just hold this momentum, we could possibly still get that trigger long. 5-minute grid, trend is up. Next target I'm looking, or next trigger, it will be above the 50 as we are trading between the 50 and 38. I wouldn't want to take a short below 38 just yet, even though we're getting very close there, for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it'll be against the trend. We want to take a trade in the direction of the trend. And right now, 8 is above 21, price is above 50, stochastic is above 50, and stochastic is above our signal line. So all 4 criteria have been met. That we look at, when determining trend. But not only that, is we found quite a bit of resistance at this 38.2 before we broke up. And you can see here how it was we trended, found resistance, bounced off there, retested and broke. So now that we actually broken this resistance, it has become support. And as the resistance becomes support, we can watch out for the possibility of a move where, as we've broken up to 38.2, we run for a little bit, go back down to retest, find support, and then continue on the larger run. So not that I'm trying to predict what the market is going to do, but that is a possibility of what could happen. So I'm watching out for that candle, or not candle pattern, but sort of that kind of market structure to play out. But otherwise, I'm focusing more on the trend. The underlying trend is where I'm putting my trust in, and that's where I'd say I'd rather go for 50 to 61.8 for the long. Opening range, we have nothing yet. We have to wait until 10 o'clock. That's in about 10 minutes. So let's quickly wrap up these setups, and then we can jump into it. Right, NASDAQ yearly high low. Very little retracement. Very small retracement in the last 2 weeks. We recovered most of the last 2 weeks fall in just 3-4 days. So massive bounce here on the NASDAQ at the moment. On the weekly picture, what I'm seeing is we have found support of this 21 moving average broken above the 8 moving average. Same as the Dow, we haven't respected this 50 moving average not once. So there's a very likely chance that it's not going to happen this year. I am looking at this retracement just below the 77% at the moment. If that 70% of that 89 holds and we start falling off, there's a good chance we could this target right now is 127. But the other idea is that what if we have a massive crash in the next couple of days and hit this 50 moving average. The thing is, for the NASDAQ to do that would have to fall 2,000 points. And then let's just quickly check something here. That's a 12.5% drop, just like during Christmas. There's no ways the Feds are going to allow a 12.5% drop. in the nasdaq just before during the festive season. So chances of reaching this 50 moving average here is almost zero. Look, anything can happen. I don't like to speak in absolutes, especially with trading. Anything can always happen, but the way the American government is, very, very, very slim chance that we're actually going to grow. So my money is on the 61.8. Very, very likely chance we're going to still hit that 61.8 before the end of the year. All right, our resistance and support moves up now that we've broken 61.8 on our monthly high and low. Break it long above 61.8. Our next target is this 89. That has yesterday a little bit of resistance, but we seem to have been starting to get out of it quite smoothly. Stochastic is above. Sorry, yeah, it is just double checking. It is above our signal line at the moment. It is above the 50 level. 8 has finally crossed over above 21. Price is above 50 moving average. So everything's indicating it on our daily picture. Trend is up. Right. Here on our hourly grid, since trend is still up. Sorry, guys, 1 second. Sorry about that. Trend is still up on the hourly picture, so I'm looking for a trigger above 77 to the 89. Our moving averages did get close to crossing over there, so I was looking at the possibility of a short down through 61, but we've recovered that distance, maintained our moving averages, and now we're actually starting to get ready for a bit of a long between 77 and 89 over there. All right, weekly high low. We're trading between the 100 and the 89. Meaning the next trigger short will only be below 38.2. First target 23, final target 11. So what I'm looking at mostly here now, I'm not really worried about the shorts. I'm more focusing on the potential for a long here. So just as with our hourly grid, getting close to trigger long above 77, getting close for a trigger long above 100 on our weekly high low. So the nasdaq isn't necessarily, we sort of have reached targets at the top side so far. I mean, there is no real target here. Maybe from that 61 we hit that 77, and then that was kind of the last target. So, and then on a weekly high low we've hit this 89. So we have sort of reached targets at the top side, but over 2 different strategies in the same time frame, we are setting up for possibilities of longs, but but quite big ones. On here on the nasdaq, 100 to 161, that's 570 points. That's massive for the nasdaq. So a lot of potential coming up. We're going to have to wait to see what happens during the day. Once you get the FTSE open, we'll have a better idea as well. Just want to get through this quickly. Daily high low, we are trading between 77 or sort of 89 and 61 above our consolidation zone. So we're going to be looking for longs above 100 to 161. And the only time we're going to be looking for shorts is once we've broken this 38.2 for 38.2 to the 11. So with the daily high low picture, we're kind of in a bit of a limbo. We're just waiting. 5-minute grid, we're in our no trade zone. We have to wait until this picture clears up a little bit. And then opening range, we'll get that in 4 minutes. So. Excuse me, guys. Just give me 1 second.